he's going to try and make it a reoccurring thing. So I think he's really putting in the work to make the first one, as good as it can be.
Well, y'all keep me updated on that because that sounds really cool.
Yeah, definitely, man.
And y'all's album just came out, I think it was, hang on, I've got it here, December 13th of last year. Right?
Yeah, so pretty recent.
Yeah, I was going to ask if y'all had any new music in the works, but I'm sure y'all got a little bit of stuff going on. Nothing, I wouldn't expect y'all to release a new album 3 months after the first.
No, but that's a good question. Yeah, I've been writing what will be like a new single, hopefully. I started that a couple weeks ago and have been working on that, and I'm sure, I'm going to have Parker come down for a couple days, and we'll probably end up writing some stuff. So I would say, in the next couple months, we'll probably have something new out. And plus, man, in today's music marketplace, like you gotta be so active, or else you kind of get lost in the conversation. So I think we're gonna try and put out, more consistent music, maybe singles and stuff like that, rather than
that seems to be the thing now.
Yeah,
releasing singles. Eventually, like by the time that the album comes out, it's like almost the whole album's been released in singles for some bands.
Yeah, man, and it sucks, but I think that's how Spotify's algorithm works. Because basically, for each, and I won't get too deep into this, but for each album, you can only submit one song per album to get on like a big playlist. So if you do singles, you can submit each of those. So it's a lot more beneficial for artists to release singles at a time versus albums, because technically you get more exposure and it's more consistent. So it kind of sucks because, I mean, you can probably relate growing up, going to music store somewhere and getting like a CD and having like a physical, you know what I mean? And just playing it over and over and getting really like connected to it. I feel like you almost kind of lose that nowadays because it's just, it's cool
streaming. It's crazy. Like I remember I would go to Ralph's Records in Lubbock and we would spend hours going through literally every CD, and I had like books upon books of albums with with the CD book in it, man. Exactly. And now you can I literally can just pull up whatever I want to right now and play it.
Yeah, and there's like give and take with that, right? Like convenience is awesome, but like I feel like you lose a lot of the personal connection sometimes, because I just remember having, like you said, like a book of like my most favorite CDs and just having them on repeat all the time. Oh, yeah. And now, like you were saying, you can listen to whatever the hell you want whenever. Yeah. So it's just how it's changed.
And with releasing singles, the world seems to go so fast nowadays. And I think that it's like almost like the world has ADHD. And releasing singles, it's not like a whole album where they're like, oh, I've already listened to the album. It's like, ooh, I haven't heard that. And you know what I mean? It just upcoming new stuff. Like, for instance, this year alone, we've had a world war threat. We had like wildfires that wiped out a shitload of Australia, and now a global pandemic. Like, it's just crazy how much it's only fucking March. It's not even, it's just barely halfway through, and like so much stuff happens so quickly. Even with movies, like it's crazy. Just the amount. I don't know if I guess with the internet now coming as far as it has, it's just updates constantly. Like that's why the coronavirus was such a people freaked out, because like that one day, like I guess it was 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, when all you were seeing on Facebook is coronavirus, but it's all just different news media. It's all bullshit. So people were like freaking out, and it's if that weren't the case, people would watch the news, hear what they needed to do, and that would be that.
Right.
But now it's just crazy now. And like I love technology because I can do things like this and get exposure, or not a little bit of exposure for bands and get to shoot the shit for a little bit. But in the same case, people are fucking stupid because of how easy it is to access things, and it's just like we've become. I don't know how to explain it, but the best way I've seen it explained is the first Men in Black movie. Tommy Lee Jones tells Will Smith, "A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky animals."
And it's true, man. Exactly. It's like you were saying, like basically the cost of having convenience. Now everybody has accessibility, and as a musician, it's great, right? Because your fingertips. You can have anybody in the world hear anything you want to put out. It's awesome. But it also like saturated the market like crazy. So now, like we talked about, instead of just doing an album every 2 or 3 years, like to stay relevant, you have to keep putting content out, or else you like get lost in the mix. Because like you were saying, man, it's March of 2020. It's only March, and all of that has already happened. And people forgot about what happened in January already, which was 2 months ago.
I would have,
so
if you would have asked me that yesterday before I saw that post, I would have said that World War threat was at least 6 months ago.
yeah,
You know?
I know it's crazy. It's just crazy how fast everything's moving these days, and I think that's going to be the biggest challenge for musicians going forward is this constant battle to try and stay relevant. So like I think for us and for me, that's why I've tried to learn new things. Like I've done all of our lyric videos, so I had to learn like video production, and then I do all our ads, so had to learn that, and just all these different things that you used to like contract out, but we've had to learn how to do them internally so that we can keep putting stuff out and not have to spend a bunch of money. So
Yeah.
I don't know, it's crazy.
I wouldn't say it's easy to learn, but with YouTube, like I started out not knowing shit. I got a microphone and an app on my phone and figured I could do it. But within the 3 months I've been doing this, I've like just Googling alone, I've learned, that's how I've learned everything from like audio editing to how to like do this recording stuff right here in the voice chat to Photoshop, and literally just Googling a super specific question and they got me. And I like, it's, you don't even have to pay for it anymore. Like you don't, like you can learn stuff that people learn in school, probably not as good, but enough to get by.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. That's kind of how I've learned everything. And Peach can attest to, he's done the same thing. But yeah, now it's so easy. You can just go. It's pretty much how bad do you want to learn, right? Because you can find it out there. It's pretty much just up to you at that point.
Yeah, one of the cool things about the internet is that all that information is right at your fingertips. You just have to be willing to, like Clayton said, like go find it. I've been learning some Instagram marketing stuff, and it's a lot, but I mean, it's not, kind of like you said, it's not necessarily complicated, but just kind of, you still got to figure some stuff out and Google it and watch videos and stuff like that. Like you have to be willing to learn it.
You don't want to put out a product that's bad, you know? Like, because my first few episodes were just horrible. And then I finally found my niche and figured out how to do it. And you gain the confidence. Eventually, it becomes easy. But starting out, you don't want to just do it like let it just sweep by. You know what I mean? Like mediocre. You want to make it a good product. So you take the time to learn it. It's worth it. I promise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and people have asked me, and I'm sure Clayton has gotten the same thing. It's like, they're like, how do you write songs? Like, it seems like you just have it down and stuff. And it's like, it didn't start out like that. Like, I've definitely written some songs that should not have been recorded. I'm just going to put it that way. But,
yeah, I mean,
if you put in the work and you got to start somewhere and just kind of realize you're working towards something, and you can get there eventually. You just got to put the work in.
Yeah, and that's something else too, is that I think people don't realize is, like, I think to be good at anything, you have to suck really bad first. And that's the part that I think people get lost in, then they quit, is, they see these bands or chefs or whatever kind of art, and they're like, I want to do that. But there's a period of like not being good at something, and that's kind of the testing time. If you can get through that, then you can start getting your own, signature sound or flavor or whatever you want to call it, and work into it. But yeah, like you guys were both saying, I think that's the hardest part, right? Is accepting the fact that there is going to be a time where it's like you're going to suck at something, and then gradually get better, and it's just part of it, man.
See, and there's basically like two ways to go about it, right? So either one, you put in the hard work, you put in the blood, sweat, and tears, and you will get there eventually through kind of working through and honing the process and everything, or you're born a ginger and you're just good at everything immediately.
Yeah, dude. Every day with the ginger jokes.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Oh. Well, on that note, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Y'all want to go ahead and do your sign-offs?
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for having us. I
Oh,
really
yeah, it's
appreciate
been
it.
fun.
Yeah, no, it's been a blast, man. And you know, we'd love to be back on anytime, and had a lot of fun, you know, talking about just anything and everything. And, you know, hopefully, maybe next time, I'll tell you what, we'll do like a quick 20 questions or for 90s kids, and we'll do, you know.
I have this 90s trivia game that I use sometimes, but I would have liked to do it with more members. Like when I did that 420 extravaganza, I had 4 guys, and we did a little game out of it. And I owe Zach from I almost said it, Gridiron, not Gridiron.
Yeah.
Zach from Gridiron and Juan from what the fuck? The Gods Have Failed T-shirts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm in the process of getting a press, so.
Yeah, next time we get together, we'll let's do that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe at the April 10th thing we can try and do something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
I'm gonna bring all my stuff. I'm bringing my laptop. Like I'm gonna try and get a hold of a camera, like good microphones anyway, because I've got little chinchy. It's decent equipment, but it's not the best. But I'm gonna get it worked out, and it's gonna be a fun time. I promise.
Sweet, man. Well, like Clayton said, thank you so much for having us on here. It's a blast.
Oh yeah. So we'll talk to y'all later, and I will message y'all whenever we get this done.
Awesome, bro.
Sounds
Thanks
good,
again, man.
Right,
have a great day.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. And if you'd like the show to sound better, have merch, or even physical interviews whenever we get off quarantine, then head over to www.nopleasedon'tpodcast.com/FSCTN, all capitals, for more information. And remember, wise men say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. See y'all.